Noorsign Books presents Ramadan Miracles, Stories of Faith Found in the Ordinary. Recipe for Return, Part 2, The Taste of Anger. Rima's kibbeh is perfect and lifeless. Her kitchen feels like a cage, her hands clenched with years of grief and fury. But when her dying Taytane whispers that the missing ingredient isn't in the recipe, Rima must learn what it means to cook with an open heart.
Her own kitchen was too small, 2 burners and a counter barely wide enough for a board, so every morning she hauled her bag of spices and her knife roll to Nour's place, where the counter held at least 2 bowls and the window let in light. The kibbeh in Nour's tiny kitchen looked perfect. Golden shells, neat ovals, crest edges. Rima knew better. She rolled one between her fingers, feeling the resistance in the bulgur, the tightness in the meat. She bit. Grainy, dense. The spices shouted instead of sang. She spat discreetly into the sink. Behind her, Nour leaned in the doorway, arms folded. That bad? Don't start. I didn't say anything. You were going to. Nour stepped forward and tasted one herself. Her face did a small, careful dance, a polite smile almost appearing, then dying. Mama, it's good, she said slowly, but it doesn't taste like Teta's. Rima slammed the tray onto the counter. I cooked beside her for 20 years. I know. Nour chose her words like stepping stones. It tastes like you're cooking for a judge. Not for people. Rima snorted. People judge too. But Teta's food felt like she was feeding you, not measuring you. The cramped kitchen closed in. 2 burners, 1 narrow strip of counter, a window over tangled wires. Not a queen's kitchen, a cage. For a week, Rima had haunted this piece every morning, breaking it with her standards. Fattoush first, sharp, somehow tight. Lentil soup, fine, but not the warm hug it used to be. Stuffed grape leaves, rolled perfectly, cooked perfectly, lifeless. It was like someone had stolen the soul from her recipes and left the shell behind. She tried again and again. Each failure tightened the knot behind her ribs. Mama, Nour said gently, maybe it's not the measures. What is it then? Rima snapped. The moon phase? Maybe it's... Nour hesitated. You. Silence filled the room, thick as steam. Rima washed her hands with unnecessary force. Make tea, she said. Nour obeyed, but her eyes, Layla's eyes, stayed on her mother's clenched shoulders.
The next day, in the half-cleaned restaurant space, another voice tried. Tarek stood just inside the door, sleeves rolled, posture wary, a folded paper in his hand. Mama, this is a bad idea. Rima looked up from the gas lines. Good morning to you too. You don't have capital, or a name people recognize, or your father? She straightened. Say it. He swallowed. The infrastructure he had. Your father had a diploma and a last name. I had the food. Skill isn't enough to pay rent. Rima's jaw hardened. Neither is an ego. Tarek's eyes flashed, then shuttered. He'd perfected that look from years of watching Samir manage staff. Polite, detached, untouchable. I'm trying to help you be realistic. I am realistic, she said. Realistically, I can't breathe if I don't cook here again. You can support me, or you can go. He stared for a beat too long, then turned and left. The door closed. The room exhaled. Rima leaned on the counter, palm flat on the worn wood. Through the window, a minutiae seller called out his wares. The smell of za'atar drifted in. For the first time, the thought surfaced, unwelcome, truthful. I can't do this alone. She pushed it away, picked up a rag, scrubbed the counter as if she could erase her own doubt with enough elbow grease. Outside, someone laughed. Inside, the empty kitchen listened. That evening, Mona blew into Nour's apartment with mint, olives, and no patience. "You look like boiled lentils, ya Rima," she announced, dumping groceries on the table. "Sit, I'm making tea. Then I'm going to be kind and cruel at the same time." On the balcony, the city hummed. Distant adhan, clatter from neighboring kitchens, the blessed noise of a fasting city about to eat. Mona poured tea over fresh mint, watching the leaves bloom. "So," she said, "how's the food?" "It's fine." Mona snorted. "Liar. I tasted the kibbeh. It's good, but not you." Rima bristled. "What does that even mean?" "When you cooked before, I could taste your joy," Mona said simply. "Even your anger was delicious. Now," she frowned, "now it's like you're building a case. Every dish says, 'Look what I can do,' not 'Come, eat.'" Rima stared into her glass. The mint scent rose, sharp and clean. "It's the recipes," she muttered. "Something's missing. A proportion, a step." "It's not the recipes," Mona's voice gentled. "It's the cook. I am not the problem." "You're never the problem," Mona agreed dryly, "but you might be the missing ingredient." Rima's laugh was short and humorless. "What do you want me to do? Hug the bulgur?" "Yes," Mona said, "actually, metaphorically." They drank in silence for a moment. "Ya Rima," Mona added softly, "you are the strongest woman I know, but strength is not the same as hardness. Your food has become hard with you." The words lodged in Rima's chest. She went home that night with Mona's sentence echoing alongside Layla's. "Your hands have been closed for 2 years." On the 10th day of Ramadan, Nour called in a tight voice, "Mama, Teta is weaker. Please come." Rima brought muhallabia again. The corridor to Layla's room felt longer, heavier. When she entered, the old woman seemed smaller, like someone had folded her in on herself. Still, the eyes. "Ya binti," Layla murmured, "you look tired in your bones." "I'm fasting," Rima replied. "Everyone looks tired." "Not like this." She gestured Rima closer. "How is the food now?" Layla asked. Rima considered lying, then sighed. "Wrong. All wrong. The kibbeh is tough. The salad is sharp. The soup is fine." She grimaced. "Fine is worse than bad." Layla smiled faintly. "Sit. Let me tell you a story. And don't interrupt. I am old, I am dying, and I have earned the right to talk." Rima obeyed. "I learned to cook during the war," Layla began. "Not from books, from hunger. 1 burner, bulgur, onions, sometimes meat, often not. Do you know what made the food work?" She lifted one fragile hand. "Not the recipe, the way I held my hands." Rima frowned. "When you knead bulgur with gratitude, it softens," Layla said. "When you knead it with anger, it fights. The food knows." She fixed Rima with that unwavering gaze. "Then you came, nervous girl, big eyes, hands already gentle. I did not give you the gift. Allah did. I just pointed." Rima's throat tightened. "You still have the gift," Layla whispered. "But your hands, they are hard now, closed. You cook like you are fighting a war." "Aren't I?" Rima shot back, the words escaping. "He took everything, the lease, the name, told our son I was nothing without them." "I'm not talking about him," Layla replied. "I'm talking about you, about your heart, about how you grip everything so tight there is no room for barakah." Silence. Rima's mind flashed back unbidden to that first Ramadan soup 2 decades ago. The way tasting it had made her weep in secret at the stove. not from sadness, but from the terrifying joy of recognizing her purpose. She had not cooked like that in years. "I'll bring you something better next time," she managed. "Bring me yourself," Layla said. "That is all I want." Something shifted after that visit. At dawn, Rima went to the souk in Burj Hammoud, a place she'd avoided since the divorce. The market greeted her like an old aunt, loud, crowded, full of unsolicited advice. She touched tomatoes, rejecting the pretty ones with no scent. She crushed mint leaves between her fingers, inhaling their green fire. She tasted olive oil on the tip of her tongue. This one too bitter, this one flat. Then, yes, sunlight in liquid form. Back in Nour's kitchen, she tried something she hadn't done in months. She didn't measure. She made lentil soup again, but this time she let her hand hover over the spice jar. Cumin between fingers, not spoon. Salt added in small, thoughtful pinches. Lemon squeezed, then tasted, then paused. She stirred slowly, not to rush it to the bowl, to be with it. When it was ready, she didn't devour. She took a tiny sip, then spat discreetly, honoring the fast. Warmth bloomed on her tongue. It wasn't perfect, but it was closer. She poured the soup into a thermos and carried it up to the hospital. Layla tasted, her eyes closed. "There," she whispered. "There she is." "Who?" Rima asked, throat tight. "You," Layla replied. Rima went home that night with a fragile, almost frightening thought forming. Maybe the food had never abandoned her. Maybe she had abandoned herself. Ramadan's days slipped by. The more Rima softened toward the food, the more the rest of her life tangled. On the 23rd night, Tarek came again. This time, his face was pale. "Baba's been running a place in Dubai since after the divorce," he said in a rush. "Hariri's table. Fancy. Reviews say it's excellent. And cold." He unfolded the paper in his hand. He sent this. Rima read the lawyer's letter. "Family intellectual property. Recipes. Rights reserved." "He's reaching into my kitchen from across the city," she said quietly. "After 2 years. Still afraid of me." "He's scared, Mama," Tarek admitted. "If you reopen and it works, everyone will know who the soul was." "Get out," she said. He flinched. "I'm just trying to—" "Get out." He left, shoulders tight. An hour later, the phone rang. Nour's voice broke. "Mama, Teta's in the ICU. Her blood pressure dropped. They moved her. Please come." The ICU was another world. Glass, machines, the sterile hum of postponed endings. Layla lay wired and monitored, the Jasmine left behind in her old room. "Days," the doctor said gently. "Maybe a week." That night, Rima went not to her apartment, but to the restaurant. After midnight, under a thin moon, she made the worst kibbeh of her life. She punished the mixture, fists slamming into meat and bulgur, oil spitting. She fried it too fast. She bit in. Ash, fury, failure. The copper pan hit the wall. The clang vibrated in her bones. She slid down against the counter, the old tiles cold against her back. The adhan for Fajr began next door, thin and beautiful. Rima pressed her palms over her face. She was out of recipes, out of tricks, and finally out of excuses. You've been listening to Ramadan Miracles, a Noorsign Books original. Rima's hands are still clenched, her heart still raw. But in the wreckage of her worst kibbeh, she's finally stopped running from the question she's been avoiding. What if the only way back to her food is to forgive herself first?